Hi everyone, Musashi X here, and it's actually going to be a different video for today. As you can tell from the title of the video, I'm not doing a game review, I am not doing a documentary video. Or even a top 20 video, which I'm definitely falling behind on doing that. But no, today's video is actually going to be me giving my afterthoughts of the recent premiere of the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action movie that premiered about a week and a half ago. Now, to be quite honest with you viewers, when I saw the trailer for the first time, the very first trailer, I think it's pretty obvious that I really don't have any high expectations for it. I mean, given the fact that it is another video game adaptation. I mean, usually with video game adaptations, or rather live-action video game adaptations, to put it more accurately, I think about 80% of the time, it's mostly missed and hits. Granted, there are some video game movies that are definitely hits, but I'll get to those in the very end. But the very first time I've seen Sonic the Hedgehog, or rather the very first trailer of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, oh boy, I see a lot of backlash on social media. I mean, I think the image speaks for itself. That when we saw the first trailer, Sonic looks like an ugly abomination straight from the Netherrealm. So much so that and actually, before I get to that, and for some reason for that very first trailer, they were playing Coolio's "Gangsta's Paradise," which, but don't get me wrong, I actually do like listening to that song, but that song doesn't really fit Sonic at all. In fact, it would fit someone like Shadow, for instance, because he is what some people would refer to him as Edgy the Hedgehog, because of the way he acts, his personality and all that. Plus the fact that Coolio's "Gangsta's Paradise" is actually originally from this one Michelle Pfeiffer movie called Dangerous Minds, but I'm getting a little bit off topic right there. But anyway, when the first trailer was released, reception for the movie reception for that trailer, I should say, yeah, was at an all-time low. If only because just for Sonic's design alone. So to make up for that, Paramount Pictures actually listened to the fans and have the studio, it's called Moving Picture Company, actually try to remake Sonic the way he should be, or rather have his model and overall design look similar to that of the modern 3D Sonic games. And honestly, the results came out really great. That's how they make Sonic the way he should be. Granted, you could still see some fur and quill on his hair, still flowing naturally. But his overall design is how it would be in the 3D Sonic games, and I actually welcome that. And of course, if you don't know who Moving Picture Company is, aside from designing Sonic and, well, redesigning Sonic, they also did the CG work for The Lion King live action, which I never actually saw yet, I confess. And they also did some other work for, like, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, among other things. Now even with the redesigned Sonic, even then the expectation is still kind of low, because again, it's a live action video game adaptation. But I know a lot of people that saw the second trailer, which is way better, by the way. I think it's more or less a how do you say this? Well, actually, to make it simpler, a cheesy video game live action adaptation. However, once I finally saw the movie for myself, I was actually impressed. I mean, the story is very much straightforward. You got Sonic. In fact, without spoiling too much, or rather, since this is going to be a spoiler-free video, I think I think I could say, the only things I could spoil is all the things that you see on the first two trailers. Like, okay, Sonic going fast. That's how Sonic is. He interacts with humans, particularly one cop in the movie, which is named Tom Wachowski, played by actor James Marsden, which we'll get to. And of course the anthropomorphic hedgehog and human interaction, that's actually a reference to Sonic Adventure. In fact, while the plot itself is very, very, I don't know, basic in a way, just like what one of the characters say about this one soldier that is in that video, or that is in that movie. I think the whole movie is also mostly showing so many references to Sonic games. In fact, if you played any Sonic game at all, or played every single Sonic game, starting from the very first game from 1991 all the way to now, there'll be a lot of references in that movie. Like say for example, in one of the trailers, there's this one sign that says Hilltop, which is obviously a reference to Hilltop Zone in Sonic 2, and of course Sonic himself moving really fast. Of course, Sonic would eventually clash with Dr. Eggman, as they always have been since 1991. Now, Sonic's character in the movie is actually kind of different in comparison to the games. Well, what I mean by that is that, see, Sonic for the most part, he's very carefree. He lives by his own. He enjoys life. Lives by his own rules. Typical outgoing carefree person archetype. And to some extent, he still kind of is in the movie, but there's also this part of him that actually feels rather emotional in a way. Well, it's hard to say whether. Well, I don't know if emotional is the right word though, but if you actually listen to the trailers, he did say something about he's trying to avoid people trying to take his powers or take advantage of, especially when it also caught the eye of Dr. Eggman in a way. But some of Sonic's characteristics still exist within him, just like in the games. But as far as the plot, it is. I mean, the plot is very well, for lack of a better term, basic in a way. But even then, the overall plot is really not that bad. I mean, it's very straightforward. Easy to understand what's going on, what situation Sonic and the cop that he befriends, Tom Wachowski, and of course try to evade Dr. Eggman. Yeah, I know. He's also referred to Dr. Robotnik as a nod to how he was named in the American games. But for anybody who has understood the whole Sonic mythos, Dr. Robotnik has always been called Dr. Eggman in Japan. But overall, the plot is really not that bad, though. Again, it's very easy to understand, and I'm very sure you'll enjoy the overall plot, especially with, again, all the references to the games being shown as the movie drags on. Now, as far as casting goes, only, of course, throughout the whole movie, only 3 characters stand out the most. Those being Sonic himself. Of course, as I mentioned, Sonic's characteristics from the games are present with some mixture of different emotions and stuff, and the one who voice acted Sonic, Ben Schwartz, actually did a really good job at not only voicing the character but also giving Sonic that attitude, as well as the as well as the friendliness. He's very caring. He's very caring about the home he's adapting to, the humans he interacted with, because again, anthropomorphic animal to human interaction. That's still that is a reference to Sonic Adventure, when you can actually interact with humans without humans actually batting an eye that they're actually talking to a talking animal. But Ben Schwartz, if you don't know who he is, he actually voice acted Dewey Duck in the DuckTales reboot, which is a good show, by the way, and he does such a good job at being Dewey that he also did a good job at being Sonic. He really gives Sonic some life and energy. And the other actor that stands out is the policeman character Tom Wachowski, played by actor James Marsden. And if you don't know who he is, he's best known for playing as Cyclops in the first 3 X-Men movies. Yeah, his breakthrough role is Cyclops back in the very first X-Men movie back in 2001. Oh man. A whole 19 years. And honestly, while there could have been more to Tom Wachowski's character, other than the fact that he's a human cop befriending and aiding Sonic on his cause, he actually does a good job of bringing the whole talking animal to human dynamic. Of course, if you saw the trailers, he did get freaked out at first because of the fact that because he's never seen anything like him. He tranquilizes him in the trailer, but eventually he lines up to assist Sonic again on his cause. You know, evading the government, evading Dr. Eggman. But overall, James Marsden's character is actually pretty solid, and of course, James Marsden himself is actually a really good actor. I forgot what other movies he showed up at though, but yeah, he actually does the job well in the movie. And finally, Dr. Eggman himself, Jim Carrey. Oh man, if you ever seen the whole movie, or rather, just by the trailer alone, Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, he actually portrayed the character very well. He actually acts in a way like he is the actual Dr. Eggman, having to talk like he's above everyone else because of his intelligence, or some intelligence. I mean, let's face it. When I say some intelligence, I mean the many times his plans get foiled by Sonic and company, and but as far as Jim Carrey's performance is, I guess the best way to describe Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman is like Jim Carrey in his prime, during the days from when he was still in a comedy sketch show in Living Color, all the way through his most famous role being Stanley Ipkiss, aka The Mask, from The Mask. But even then, after all these years, Jim Carrey, he still got it. He really does. yeah, he really he actually brings the whole demented side of Dr. Eggman, just like the real character would be doing. Granted, he's not as overly super evil overlord like it was in Sonic in the Sonic Saturday Morning AM show, but rather the clumsiness of Dr. Eggman and the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog mixed with Dr. Eggman from the games, which he could still have some ideas, but ultimately he would also have his plans foiled. Now, visual effects for the movie, I'm actually quite impressed. I mean, it's the most impressive thing I've seen in a live-action video game adaptation in recent memory, because most video game adaptations, CGs back then, they're actually not that impressive. Not counting the Ratchet and Clank movie, which is mostly CG. And a lot of people give that movie flack, but for me personally, I actually liked it. Well, granted, the movie is more for Ratchet and Clank fans than anything else, but yeah, beyond that, when it comes to live-action video game adaptations, the CG of the movie, the visual effects of the movie is actually really good. Ranging from Sonic himself, of course, moving in high speeds, has fluid animation, has really good mouth movement, all the way to the lighting effects, and all the crazy stuff that Dr. Eggman does in the movie. I'm actually quite impressed. Yeah, it is very visually appealing. In fact, Sonic himself, as I mentioned earlier, the earliest version of Sonic was met with so much backlash that Moving Picture Company had to redesign the whole thing, and at the end of it, it actually worked out in the favor of both Paramount Pictures and the fans, but unfortunately, because of the whole redesigning thing, it also cost Moving Picture Company to also shut themselves down, like right before Christmas, actually, which does kind of suck, but that's what happens when I guess that's usually the cost when Hollywood tends to interfere too much, to the point where like most video game adaptations, they would stray away from the source material, make things very inconsistent, that it would cost some studios greatly. So I can only hope for those that lost their jobs on the Moving Picture Company to I hope they were able to get off to they would actually find jobs at the field they're known for, because honestly, they're very talented people, and for this to happen to them really does suck. Now for my overall thoughts of the movie. Overall, I'm actually impressed with the movie. I'm thinking about watching it a second time if I ever get a chance at it. But I will say that first and foremost, the movie is definitely not for everyone. Not by a long shot, because the overall plot of the movie, not to mention the design of Sonic itself, it gears towards more of the younger audience. Well, granted though, the younger audience, as well as parents of said younger audience, can actually enjoy this movie. I mean, you definitely get a good laughs on it. Laugh at the various antics that Sonic and Tom had to go through. But I will say overall, it's also gearing towards fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. And honestly, after seeing the second trailer for it, that alone convinced me to actually watch the movie. And again, I'm very impressed. I love the flow. I love the effects. Basically, a lot of things are actually really good, just as long as they actually stay to the true source material of the series. Especially with like I said, again, to reiterate, all the references that you see in the games. But yeah, it's definitely right up there. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog is definitely right up there with one of my favorite live action video game adaptations. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash from this, but I mean, I like Detective Pikachu, which is a really good movie, by the way. Sonic the Hedgehog, definitely a very solid movie, but if I had to pick my number one choice for live action video game adaptation, sadly Sonic is not the top of my list. It comes close, because my number one live action video game adaptation, I gotta say, it's still gonna be the first Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, it's not the very first video game adaptation, live action adaptation by any means, but to me it's the first live action video game based movie that can actually do everything right. Well, that concludes my review of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. If you haven't seen it for yourself, I suggest you give it a shot. I mean, I know some people's reactions will be mixed, but I'm very sure you'll have a good time. I know it. I know I had a good time watching it, and I'm very sure you, your kids, and your families can also enjoy it too. Anyway, I hope you like this video, and if you haven't done so already, well, feel free to subscribe to this channel, as well as checking me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until then, this has been Masashi X, and I bid you all farewell. Take care, and stay tuned, everybody.